The sky over the crystalline palace of Verdanthra was the color of deep emerald oceans, swirling with flecks of bioluminescent gold that pulsed like stars beneath the waves. That day, the air carried a static tension, almost as if the world was holding its breath. Inside the royal observatory, Queen Aveloria stood silent, her 4 silver coronets floating above her head, held aloft by gravitic fields. Her eyes, luminescent violet, remained fixed on an ancient tapestry of interlocking stars, stitched with threads made from the mineral remains of dying suns. She wasn't alone. Beside her stood her daughter, the small Princess Isel, only 7 cycles old. Her delicate wings, still too young to unfold fully, trembled against her back. Unlike most children her age, she rarely spoke. But when she did, Aveloria listened. Because Isel dreamed things before they happened. And weeks ago, she had woken from a feverish sleep, gripping her mother's hand with tiny, trembling fingers. Her words had been simple, yet world-shattering. "He's coming." Aveloria had pressed gently. "Who?" And the girl had answered, voice barely above a whisper. "The human." No humans had ever come to Verdanthra, at least, none who lived long enough to tell the tale. The planet's gravity was too intense, its atmosphere too thick, its fauna and flora too aggressive. It was known across the galaxy as a death world, a place that only the mightiest species dared visit. But humans were fragile. Their bones too light, their lungs too weak, so the archives claimed. Yet that same night, Isel drew in silver chalk upon the palace floor, a tall figure wrapped in shadow, standing beneath their world's twin moons. Around him she drew swirls of gold, just like those that dotted Verdanthra's sky. The queen did not forget. The beginning, the arrival of the impossible. The alarms first chimed at sunrise. The palace guards rushed to defensive stations as scanners shrilled warnings of an approaching atmospheric entry. Bolts of emerald lightning streaked the clouds as a vessel, small and scarred, forced its way through the brutal sky. It did not crash. It landed, its metal feet digging into the soil of the royal gardens. Soldiers surrounded the ship, weapons glowing hot, expecting monsters or machines. But the ramp lowered, hissing softly, and a single figure stepped down. A human. He was tall, yes, but not impossibly so. His clothes were torn, burnt in places from atmospheric re-entry. His face carried exhaustion, not fear. His hair was wind-tossed, dark as obsidian, and his eyes sharpened with restrained determination. He raised empty hands and said only, "I seek refuge." The guards would have fired, had the queen herself not arrived. Aveloria floated forward, her coronets humming softly, her presence commanding absolute silence. "You walk Verdanthran ground, human," she said. "Our world rejects outsiders. Why have you come?" The man bowed, chest heaving under the weight of the planet's gravity. "My ship was dragged out of hyperspace," he replied. "I had nowhere else to land." His voice was strained. He was clearly suffering under their world's crushing pull. Yet he stood straight, not collapsing as any human should have. Soldiers exchanged glances. Queen Avaloria's wings fluttered. She felt something, a pulse of old prophecy stirring in her blood. But she said nothing yet. Instead, she gestured. "Come. You'll be questioned." As they escorted him inside, Small footsteps pattered behind the queen. Princess Isel peeked around her mother's gown, eyes widening. Her wings fluttered in astonishment. Her voice, when it came, was breathless, trembling with recognition. "Mom, it's him." Ave froze. Every prophecy sung by her ancestors thundered in her mind. The wanderer beneath two moons, born of distant worlds, the one who survives the death world shall shift the fate of the crown. Her gaze flicked to the human again, and she finally understood. The middle, the trials of Verdanthra. The man's name was Elias Tren, a scout from humanity's distant colonies. He was not a warrior, he claimed, nor royalty nor prophet. Simply a survivor, doing his best to live another day. But Verdanthra did not care what he called himself. The planet tested him. Gravity crushed his muscles. Atmospheric bioelectric storms shocked his nerves. Predatory plants snapped at him. The palace's training halls, built to harden Verdanthran soldiers, strained every fiber of his being. Yet Elias endured. Each morning, he walked the spiral staircases, even though his legs trembled with effort. He learned their customs, spoke their language with careful respect, and never complained, not even when blood seeped from cracked knuckles as he trained with the guards. By the second week, Captain Lareth, leader of the royal guard, cornered the queen. "This is beyond strange," he murmured. "Humans should break under our gravity. Yet he adapts." Ave answered quietly. Prophecy said the one who breathes with effort, yet survives with will, shall reshape destiny. Lareth scoffed, but only until the next day, when a garden beast, a six-legged predatory hullwraith, broke loose during feeding. The creature weighed nearly a ton, armored in bone-like plating. It lunged toward Princess Isel as she played among the glowing flowers. Guards were seconds too slow, but Elias, who had no weapon, moved. He threw himself into the hullwraith's path, catching its gaping maw by the jaws. Muscles bulged, veins surfaced, and his face contorted with effort as the beast thrashed wildly. Human bones should have snapped, but they didn't. Inch by inch, he forced the creature's jaws shut before the guards finally immobilized it. Afterward, Elias collapsed, breathing like he'd run through fire. Princess Isel hugged him without hesitation. "You came," she whispered. "Of course," he replied breathlessly. "I wasn't going to let anything happen to you." The queen watched from the balcony, her heart tightening in a way she hadn't felt in years. The human was becoming part of their world, and the prophecy's truth grew undeniable. The end, the decision of a queen. Whispers filled the palace. The human is chosen. Some worshipped him. Others feared him. The High Council demanded his exile. His presence invites danger. Prophecies destabilize kingdoms. Ave listened, but said nothing. That night, thunder rolled across Verdanthra. Lightning split the sky, and Elias stood at the balcony of his guest quarters, gazing at the twin moons Princess Isel had once drawn in chalk. She joined him quietly, wings folded, tiny hand slipping into his. "Why do you stay?" she asked. He considered the question for a long moment. "I've spent my life running," he admitted softly. "From worlds collapsing, from wars, from expectations. But here, I feel like I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be." Isel smiled. The queen stepped out of the shadows then, her presence luminous, wings unfurled. "You would remain," she asked, "even knowing the council rejects you?" Elias turned to her. "I will if you allow it, if I have earned it." Silence stretched, thick with expectation. Finally, Ave Loria reached forward, placing her hand over his heart. She sensed strength, not of flesh, but of will, the very trait the prophecy had foretold. She lifted her voice, wings glowing in the stormlight. "Elias Tren of Earth, by the will of the crown, I name you guardian of the royal line. Your endurance reshaped destiny. Your courage saved my daughter, and your presence fulfills the prophecy." Gasps echoed across the chamber as the council, guards, and servants, summoned by unknown instinct, witnessed the declaration. Princess Isel's wings fluttered with joy. "Your family now," she whispered. Elias bowed deeply, though fatigue racked his frame. "It is an honor," he said. "I won't fail her. Or you." Lightning flashed, casting 3 shadows as one. In the days that followed, Verdanthra changed. Where once humans were dismissed as fragile, now they were spoken of with newfound respect, even awe. The prophecy had taken root in reality, reshaping the future of an entire world. And late at night, when the queen walked the palace gardens, she would sometimes find Elias training under the crushing gravity, always pushing forward. She would watch quietly, and each time she recalled her daughter's trembling words. "Mom, it's him." A small smile would touch her lips, because the prediction was real, and destiny, like gravity, could not be denied.